Hey everyone, it's Phil Wade. How are you tonight, guys? Thank you for being here. If you could type something in the box down below, let me know who's online with me. If you can hear me, see me, everything is coming through well, let me know. Hey Ernesto, thank you for being here. Are you able to hear me and see me okay? Hey Evelyn, how are you? How's the audio? How's the video? Perfect. Hey, Regis, good to see you. Thank you, Evelyn. I'm glad I'm coming through loud and clear. We'll give it another, 15 or 30 seconds, and we'll kind of move on to the first slide. So tonight is the the first coaching call. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Bill, thank you so much. I like that. Hey, Shakita, how are you? Good to see you. So, what we're trying to do here is, help you increase your business, right? I mean, that's ultimately, kind of what we all want. We want to do, we all want to do more business, right? And, maybe develop a team or, make things easier, right? So tonight we're going to go through just some things. It's, we're going to do these calls every other week, every other Thursday. And the goal is that over time, hopefully you pick up some tips, some good tactics to be able to, increase your business and be more productive, with your time. Hey, Stan, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. We'll flip the slide in just a second. And again, these webinars, they're really for you guys. Ask away on questions. Anything, nothing's off limit. Hey, Ray, good to see you. Thank you for being here. We're just kind of getting going. This is the first sort of coaching, webinar. And it's really all about, helping you guys increase, your number of transactions, over the course. Hey, Lydia, how are you? Over the course. Hey, Donna, good to see you. Over the course of a year. So some of it's going to be pretty basic. But again, it's not going to take, we won't be here, but for, 20, 30 minutes. So they won't be that long. But if you pick up a couple tips, couple tactics, to help you increase your business, that's awesome. So, all right, let me move the slide. So let's talk about, right? So, hey, this is the first one. We're just starting, right? So let's talk about your foundation, right? What is your foundation? To me, Dalton Wade, it's an online brokerage. Your foundation is your online presence, right? What does that mean? Well, that means, what do people see when they Google you, right? I mean, that's what you want to make sure, looks good. I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, we have this thing we call your sphere of influence, right? Your sphere of influence is your family, your friends, business associates. Those are the easy transactions to get, right? I mean, we're going to talk, at some point about our sphere of influence and how we can increase that. But, those are I call them the softballs. Those are the easy ones. Like those should just come, naturally. Like obviously you got to mention to people, let them know that you're an agent, right? All that stuff. But, to really build your business as an agent, it has to be with people we don't know, right? I mean, because what happens is, our family, friends, business associates, there's only so much there. Eventually, they've sold their house or they've bought a house. So it's I've really not met any agent that solely survived on their sphere of influence, right? So it's critical that you're able to find people you don't know. That's what the business is. You have to be able to find people that don't know you, right? And then what do those people do? What do those people do is they Google you, they check you out, right? And how do you look? How does your online presence look, right? I mean, we can do it right now. I mean, open up another browser and type your name in. Type your name in plus real estate agent. What comes up? People, I mean, and again, what you're focused on are the first 2 pages. Those are, 20 results, right? What are you seeing? How do you like what you see? Because that's what others see, right? If you have a lot of blank avatars, meaning, your photos aren't on all the sites that are indexed, right? The Dalton Wade agent page is indexed by Google. That should be one of the results. You want to have, a very professional photo, and you want to have, a professional looking bio, right? You want to look good online, right? So, hey, has anybody done that? Has anybody opened up that browser, and Googled yourself plus real estate agent? What are you seeing? How do you like it? Is Zillow, the ones that should be coming up are, Dalton Wade. Realtor.com is first. Hey, Steve. What is it showing? Is there a link to you? So that if somebody clicked on that link on Realtor.com, then what do they see? Do they see, your photo? I can't tell you. Realtor.com is an annoyance for me as the broker. Why? I get calls from people. There you go. Thank you, Shakita. I know you have a nice photo, right? So, how does it look? How does that bio read? People might click on, the first couple links, right? As I was mentioning about Realtor.com, a lot of times I get calls. I get them off Zillow as well. I might be in the car and somebody is calling me. We're now at, we have 200 listings. And somebody will be saying, what about this property? They think I'm the listing agent. That happens to me 3 or 4 times a day. Now, I try my hardest, right? I'm a busy guy. I try my hardest to find that person, that agent, and then give that person their contact information. That's what you need to be auditing. If you have listings, go on Realtor.com. See what the consumer sees. If your phone number isn't there, that's a problem. If you're on Zillow, right, and it's one of your listings and you are not there as the listing agent, that's a problem for you. Why? Those are your best leads. Those are your best leads. Those leads, right? I used to have, this is true, I had a 25% conversion rate of people, buyers, that called me on my listing. I was happy to show them the house. It was all pre-planned how that appointment was going to go. And here's how it would go. Show them the house. Try to sell them the house. My first duty always is to do that, and my first duty is to my seller. But it doesn't take long. It might take 5, 10, 15, minutes. Usually it was 5 minutes. They're not buying that property. They're giving you the signs. It's not for them. They will do that. As soon as that happens, the conversation switches to, why'd you call the listing agent? The listing agent doesn't care if you overpay. I'll make sure you never overpay. I'm very knowledgeable at this price point in this area. Got a great network of lenders, inspectors, title companies. I will help you. I will make sure you get a great value. Would you like to go out and look at some homes with me? I would pick up and close 1 out of 4. There is no better conversion. Internet leads converted 3%, open house leads maybe 5 to 7%, right? So if you are not, check your listings, right? Go on Zillow, see what it looks like. Go on Realtor.com. Those are the 2 most popular sites. You need to make sure your information is there so that call doesn't come to Phil, it goes directly, to you, right? And then when you're showing them, that property, right? And it's not just off the internet. People can call you off your sign, and certainly off the internet. Are you satisfied with how you look online? Do you think it represents yourself well? Right? Do you have a strong online presence? Great photo, great bio. And if you've done some transactions, we have some experienced agents here. If you've done transactions, make sure, again, the number 1 site is Zillow. You want to make sure, your past sales are reflected. You want to, make sure you have reviews, right? People key in off of that. Anybody else, Google themselves and, what are you seeing? How's it looking? And this is not something you just do once and then you forget about, right? Because again, Google and how they index things is always changing, right? So again, you want to make sure, on that first page, you come up, and you might even go to the second page. It will help you. It will build your base. You will never have to worry that somebody, searching for you finds kind of an incomplete picture. Because it will cause you a loss of business. Any questions before we kind of move on to the next slide? All right. So, over the years, I've come up with, and some of you may have heard this or possibly not, but I've come up with what I call the 4 horsemen for real estate success, right? And obviously it's 4 things. It's listings, right? It's internet leads, it's social media, and your sphere of influence. This is where you want to become proficient, right? You want to, put your effort into these 4 things, and it's a focus on how you actually, spend your time, how you conduct your day, right? On the listing side, we're coming out. We're not quite there yet, but very soon we are going to be providing all the agents, on the Business Builder program with the FSBO expired and withdrawn data, right? Cross-referenced against, the do not call list for your particular area. Listings are the number one thing in this business. Listings, and we're going to talk more in depth, as we have more of these calls about how actually to get listings. But listings are just so important. Being a buyer's agent, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but you want that good balance of listings and buyer business. And why listings are so important, there's really 2 reasons. So when you have a listing, right, or let's say when you work with a buyer, like, where do you guys like to go on vacation? I like Key West, right? So if I'm working with a buyer and I'm on vacation for a week, my business stops because I am not physically there to take that buyer around. If I'm the listing agent, I can be in Key West, and that buyer's agent can sell that property for me. They can send me, the contract. I can forward that, to my client. I can step out of, Sloppy Joe's or, wherever I am, call my client, go through the contract with them, get back to that buyer's agent, and maybe put that thing under agreement, and I'm not even in the area. That's the first benefit of listings. The second benefit is what I call the multiplier effect. And again, it goes back to, off of your listings, you can get multiple transactions, meaning you can meet buyers for free. You're not paying Zillow or Realtor.com or, OpCity. No, you're working your listing, right? You're there doing open houses. You are, very certain how, Zillow and Realtor.com are set up so that anybody inquiring, that lead goes directly to you, so you can close 1 out of 4 like I used to do. I had one listing. This is a true story. And it wasn't just myself, but it was between myself and a couple of agents. This was up in Boston. I got 16 transactions from it. It like tentacled out in a crazy way. And it was a $600,000 property. So most of my sales around that were on the higher end. So that one listing gave me 15 other deals. I met a buyer, then I sold them a house, then I got their listing, then I got the neighbor's listing, then I met a buyer there, and it just kept going. That can't happen when you work with a buyer. I mean, again, we all want buyers, right? It's you want that mix, right? 60% listings, 40% buyer business. Focus on listings. And again, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit more about them, over the coming weeks. Internet leads. Let's talk a little bit about that. Internet leads. Again, Zillow, Realtor.com, OpCity, they work, right? I mean, they are in business because they provide agents with, quality leads, right? But it's not such that, they're all very, what should I say? They're smart, right? I mean, Zillow, it used to be better. 3 years ago, it was better, meaning you got more leads. Now, there's more demand. It's more expensive. More agents want them, but you can still, convert. We have that program through Dalton Wade where, the agent pays a third, I pay a third, our lender pays a third, and then there's a 20% referral fee. Now, again, agents sometimes, like they just don't want to spend the money. That's fine. I understand, right? But, then you need to be good, getting listings. And we're going to talk about, calling, some tactics there. But let me take you through the Zillow numbers just real quick, right? So you're spending and I'm going to show you the power of this leverage, right? So say you spend, it's $333. So say you spend $333 on your own a month, right? So after 3 months, you've spent $1,000. You got one deal, one closing in 3 months, right? $5,000, you spent $1,000, you made $4,000. So you had a $4,000 profit. Now, with us co-marketing together, you're spending 3 times as much. So instead of getting one deal, you got 3 deals. Instead of generating $5,000, you generated $15,000. I get the 20% Ernesto because I spent as much as you did, right? But let me just kind of go through those numbers. So now you spent 3 times as much. So instead of getting one deal, you got 3 deals. So instead of generating $5,000, you generated $15,000. Now you paid $1,000, and then you paid 20% to fill. $3,000. So now you made $11,000. You still spent the same. You got 11 times your money as opposed to 5 times your money, right? That's the leverage. You got to spend. The business, there's 2 things, right? There's, kind of what I call your human capital. Anybody know what your human capital is? It's your time. Thank you, Stan. Your time. Your time is valuable, right? So you want to spend your time as effectively as you can. And that's around prospecting, right? Again, we're going to kind of go deeper into that in another session. And then you have your financial capital, which is your money, right? So you got to invest your money wisely. You want to stay away from, programs that require you to sign up for 6 months. because if it doesn't work, you've wasted money, and we don't want to do that, right? So, internet leads, can work. I mean, yeah, like realtor.com, I stay away from them, right? The reason why I like Zillow is because if it doesn't work, we can stop it. Realtor.com, you're locked in for 6 months. Again, Boomtown also, ties right into the whole internet lead, phenomena, right? Boomtown is there to help you convert those leads. Again, what I see is the vast majority of agents don't use Boomtown effectively. What do I mean? What I've seen with many agents, and some are strong enough, right, to not have to use Boomtown. Internet leads fall into 3 groups. Group 1 is trash. They do not convert, and the largest percentage of internet leads are trash. It can be 95 to 97% of the opportunities you get are trash. So you're left with 3 to 5% that potentially can turn into a transaction. The problem is you don't know, out of 100 leads that come in, you don't know which 3 to 5 are the ones that turn into a deal. So you got to treat them all the same. Boomtown helps you automate your marketing. One of the key things is the smart drip campaigns. It is, and it should be primarily via text. What I learned is that people respond to text 10 to 1 over email. Now you can do both, because again, there are still some people that are more email centric than text centric. But you want to have, those drips set up, and I'm going to have Claren try to do that. So we have those that you can just drop on your client, right? So what it does is it automates your marketing. It allows you to just put that person on autopilot. Certainly you're going to do, the calling, the leaving of a message, the initial text, you're still going to do all that. But what we find is that many internet leads are non-responsive. Why are they non-responsive? Well, a couple reasons, really. One, they're not gonna move forward with you as an agent. Maybe they're an agent. Right? So, or they're not ready now. So even though they inquired, they're not actually ready to buy anything now. Those are half of your leads that convert. So of that, let's just say 4% for simplicity. And again, it varies by agent. Some agents, are better. Claren, who everybody knows, was an internet converting machine. You looked at her Boomtown when she was an actual agent, it was like a thing of beauty. Everything organized, everybody with a to-do, everybody with a drip, everybody followed up in a very systematic and logical way, and the results were more closings. Well, thank you, Evelyn. She's, very good. But again, it just takes, it takes thinking. Like, what am I doing? How is my day? How am I structured? Right? A lot of times people become agents and they think, oh, I can go to the gym, and they do it all for the wrong reason. What do? We show houses, we go on listing appointments, we go to home inspections, we go to final walkthroughs, and we go to closings. That's the job. That's the time out in the field. That should probably be 70% of your day. The other 30% is prospecting for listings. An hour a day, you're making the calls. Another hour a day, you're working your internet leads. Another hour a day, you're spending on social media, again, trying to show yourself as an expert. Let's talk a little bit about social media. Again, we're going to, in the weeks to come, we're going to dig deeper into these topics. But again, social media, what do I see out there? This is what I see from agents. Pictures of their listings, pictures of their closings. I read an interesting stat. Real estate agents are the #1 posters on Facebook as a group. They post the most, but they have the least engagement. Why is that? Because what they're posting isn't really interesting to the people they're trying to attract. 75% of first-time home buyers work with the first agent they meet, right? You can meet them online through social media, but you've got to be meeting them with quality information. You have to separate yourself. This webinar tonight, I've been, preaching for a while. First time home buyer webinar. It makes a great Facebook ad. I know of no agent that's done it. I don't want to say 100% convinced, but I am fairly convinced that it would be very, very effective, right? Because again, you might get 20 people to attend your webinar. You're looking for one person that becomes a client. It's a home run. Again, it's the concept of giving people information, teaching them. I open up most of the Dalton Way training to agents like Stan. Stan wasn't, he was a KW agent. He took some of the training. He liked the training. It's the same concept, right? You're helping people, and then in return, you're helping yourself. Again, we're going to dig deeper into that. And then we touched upon, your sphere of influence. There are some other tactics. Thank you, Stan. There are other tactics, right, beyond, your family, friends, business associates, that you can meet people. They really wouldn't be your sphere of influence, but they're strategies, to get more business. What you're trying to do is, to really be successful as an agent, you have to do 2 transactions a month. And that's certainly accomplishable. Where are they going to come from? Where are they? Work backwards. What am I doing to get 2 transactions a month? So just to tell you a little bit more about some good things happening at Dalton Waite. So, most of you know about OpCity. Most of you know about the Zillow program. We've actually been, working with what we call our Open House Connect, which is to give you guys more opportunities. Open houses, and again, it's kind of still in beta, but we're working very hard, to kind of match up our agents, with our listing agents, so you guys can do open houses. Open houses, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I met Claren at one of my open houses. True story. She was like agent 4. Met her at an open house. Got four transactions off that open house. It was the perfect listing. Looked great online, but then when you went to the house, it wasn't so great because it backed up to kind of a, not a very nice hotel, and it was kind of near a busy street. But online, it didn't look like that. It took a while to sell. It started, I think, at 250, and it eventually sold at 200. It was a flipper, right? But we got open houses are opportunities. Again, getting good at doing an open house is critical. I know Stan, has picked up clients, from open houses. It works. Why does it work? Because people are actually looking. What happens with buyers is they start online and then they move offline. And if they don't have an agent yet, There you go. Yeah, thank you. Shakita, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put out a lot of signs. I want you to get there early. I know you're going to look great, and I want you to log those people right into Boomtown. Look slick. I about a year ago, I don't do it anymore. I used to go to open houses to do recruiting. I was mortified. Most of the agents, in fact, almost all of them, not professionally put together. Don't look like somebody that you would want to work with. You're selling yourself. The other thing I saw that was, not good, logging people in on a piece of paper. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, years ago, 5, 6 years ago, I logged them right into my CRM. You look slick. You look like ahead of all your competition. I saw one agent logging somebody in electronically. Everybody else is still using a piece of paper. You can't read their email address. It's worthless, right? The other thing I did, I would ask them right there, yeah, use your iPad, log them right in. That's right. And I would, hey, Bo, how are you? You basically have, your lead central open on Boomtown, and then you hit add lead. I mean, it's simple. And then you just log them right in. And then the next thing you're going to do after you've logged them in, you're going to say, hey, where do you search? Where do you search online? And they might say, oh, Zillow. Oh, there's a lot of bad information there. You're right. There's just, half the listings aren't even available. Oh, I can fix that for you. Can I set you up with a property alert? Right there. They tell you their search criteria and you've set them up with an alert. Nobody does that. You're distinguishing yourself. Your conversion. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're you verbally, you type it right in. They may want to type it in. Yeah, you're done with the paper. Paper, get rid of the paper. It's all electronic, right? And then you're asking them, can I set you up with an alert? What I found was 9 out of 10, 90% say yes. Again, you got to get good at certain things. Conducting an open house, you want to get good at it. Claren does a training on, how to do a successful open house. It works because, you're better, right? It makes you, people, meaning buyers, they have an incredible number. Yeah, there you go. Well, that works too, Shakita, But, again, you're giving them more. You're distinguishing yourself from all the other agents they meet. People, they have choices. And you want to be their choice. They tend, when Lisa and I were up in Boston, when we would do the open houses, we would say, did we bond with anybody? Did you bond with anyone? That's what it's all about. It's that bonding. It's that connection. It's that likability. It's sad in a way because, people don't really do any research. They may Google you, right, as we talked about before, but, it's you've connected with them. You made that connection, and then you ask them, would you like to go out and look at any properties? Eventually, they will connect with an agent. Why not you? But you got to ask. It's like sales 101. In real estate, we're not selling houses. That's easy. If a house is priced right, it sells. If a house is overpriced, it doesn't sell. What we're selling is ourselves. It's that connection. So we're going to do a little bit more there. And that's coming, we're starting it, and we're going to hopefully get you guys some good opportunities there. And then we're also, we're very close to sending this out as well, the FSBO expired withdrawn data, right? There are services that do that. And we're going to take that information and we're going to compile it and we're going to send it out to the agents, right? Now, again, it's not just sent out to you exclusively. It's sent out to, anybody on the, Business Builder Lead program. But here's the thing. Agents don't call. When I came to Florida a little over 4 years ago, I got on that phone and I cold called. I call it warm calling, right? Cold calling is calling the phone book. Warm calling is calling FSBO expired and withdrawn because they're thinking of selling, right? Let me ask, how many of you guys on this call today called 10 people? How many called 10 people? There you go. Good job, Bo. What 10 people a day is, there you go. Awesome. What 10 people a day is 200 people a month. If you can do it every day, 20 business days in a month, 200 calls. Some people, and again, some people, sometimes it takes a few calls. You wear them out, right? 1% conversion. 1%. 1% is 2 listings. That's the goal. 2 listings, and then hopefully 1 buyer off that listing. You're at your 2 deals a month. It isn't that hard, but you got to do it. You got to do it. And then eventually what happens after time is you don't have to do it as much because now your business is referrals, repeat business, right? People calling you. So there's not as much prospecting. But in the beginning, as you try to grow your business, it's the number one thing, right? And again, all these tactics, if we go back, right? Listings, internet leads, social media, sphere of influence, I'm just one person, right? I did my thing. It worked, right? But that's just me. But here's a great resource is YouTube, right? You can take these 4 things, right? These 4 tactics and go into YouTube and type in, expired listings, real estate agents, for sale by owner, real estate agent, internet leads, real estate agent, social, and there's a ton of information, there you go, Ray. Good job. We're going to get you that data. We're about a week away from, formally launching that, but it's coming soon. But again, Bo and I sat down and, we did some role playing. My scripts for Bo weren't perfect. He had something else, right? They worked for me, maybe, right? So you learn different things. You try different things, right? And you learn what other agents share information. There's an interesting one like on internet leads. It's called, 10 Days of Pain. 10 Days of Pain. It's out there. It's got a lot of views. That agent who came up with 10 Days of Pain, he pounds on those internet leads for 10 days. I don't believe in that. He believes in it. I'm sure it's worked or he wouldn't do it, right? I don't know. Again, my thing was I called it, 2 times 3. For 2 days, I call them, text them, and email them. And then I set them up with an alert, and I might put them on a drip, and I see what happens. So there's different ways. You got to, try things out, test things out, do different things. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about doing it. It's all about, taking roughly a third of your time, right, and putting it into prospecting. These 4 things. And again, we're going to talk more about them, in the weeks to come, and we're going to go deeper, into each one. And then obviously we're doing the coaching call tonight. I hope, we get some good things out of this. It's a community. We're all trying to learn, from each other. I would hope everybody, all the agents are, we're geographically dispersed. Everyone's willing to share, what's working, how's it going, what are we finding, what's effective, so that we can all benefit. I mean, it's, there's really no competition among agents. You only have competition really with yourself. It's doing it. The business is tremendous, is huge. There's so many transactions, right? I mean, it's just, being better, than, the other agents out there. All right, guys. First of many to come. I appreciate you all being here. Any last questions before we sign off? Hey, Bert, how are you? Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ray. Hey, Jim, how are you? Awesome. Hey, Michael, good job. Jacaris, I know your online profile is off the charts. How you doing? Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back, and we will keep in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bo. Yeah, you guys all will get an email so that you're able to access the replay. Yep, for sure. Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.